Just think about this. Here's somebody on a trapeze bar, and they're probably going, I like this trapeze bar. It's a good trapeze bar. But what do they know they have to do? They have to let go. So at some point when the timing is right, and maybe there's a net, maybe there's not a net, but they have to let go and go through this period here where it feels probably awkward, strange, weird, uncomfortable, and different, right? Until all of a sudden, boy, I love this trapeze bar. This is my favorite trapeze bar in the whole world, you see. So part of, as we enter this process, there will probably be some letting go that needs to take place. See, letting go of control, letting go of calling all the shots, entrusting and embracing your alliance partners. See, so there'll be some letting go of that. But I guarantee, when you get to the other end, this is the best outage we've ever had. I love this outage. This is the best outage we've ever had. And how do you get to that other side there? One thing I know in my time of working for NV Energy is this about this one word. Ready? You better get results. You better get results. And results are achieved lots of different ways, but the bottom line is you better deliver. Is that safe to say, based on your experience of working for the company? Okay, here's what else I know, is I know that behavior is what gives you results. People act a certain way will give you the results. Is that a safe assumption? Okay, then the question becomes, well, let me ask you this. Where does behavior come from? See, what drives people's behavior? And it's obviously what people believe. If I believe something, I'm going to act a certain way. Is that safe to say? Do beliefs change? Sure they do. Usually when you have some kind of insight, it shifts beliefs, shifts behavior, shifts results. That's those could have had a V8 moment, or I could have been somebody, or I could have been a contender. All those little moments of aha. That's the wisdom after the fact we talked about earlier on, you see. How do you have the wisdom in the moment? To shift the belief, to shift the behavior. Because here's the thing, if people just shift their behavior, what you get is you get compliance. People going through the motions. This too shall pass, right? Guys like that. Flavor of the month, right? But if people shift their beliefs, that's where you get that commitment. That's where you build a team, is having a commitment, see? And I guarantee there's people, well, let me ask you, are there people back that that have predictable behavior? They're going to act a certain way. Is that safe to say? They're going to act a certain way. You can kind of predict that. Here's what that looks like. They get a narrow little set of results because they have this narrow, predictable behavior, right? Because they're what? Narrow-minded, see? And they have very little room for insights and ahas. They lock into certain ways of doing behavior and they're not going to change. Right? This is the world of where the world of black and white lives, the world of my way or the highway lives. This is where prejudice lives. This is where bias lives. This is where that'll never work lives, or that's a stupid idea, or I'm not going to buy into it. I mean, it all kind of lives in this little area. I guarantee, Kevin said it, Paul said it, to be successful going into an alliance approach to running outages and overhauls is you're expected to get a wide range of results. Right? Which means you better flex your behavior, which means you need to be open-minded.